Hi everyone, welcome back to the Good to Know channel. For 38 years, I've stumbled through every diet trend, overtrained until I burned out, starved myself chasing a number on the scale, and even battled eating disorders that left me exhausted, angry, frustrated, and honestly, pretty miserable. Those years derailed my sports career in post-secondary. I simply didn't have the energy to perform at the level I knew I was capable of. Back then, there was no internet like today, no social media mentors, no quick access to real information, so I was figuring it out the hard way, mostly through trial and painful error. But I've since forgiven myself for those mistakes, and through years of experimenting and finally understanding what actually works after 40, I've cracked the code. Now I wake up with real energy, a steady mood, easier fat loss, and that deep feeling of aging strong instead of just getting older. I want to share these lessons with you so that you can skip the pain I went through. These aren't from textbooks or influencers, they're from my real life, backed by science, and they've completely changed how I feel every single day. Let's dive into the top 10 things that took me way too long to learn. From carb confusion to why sleep is literally everything, plus some mindset shifts that keep everything sustainable. I'll keep it real and relatable because trust me, we've all been there with the late night snacks, the skipped workouts, or the I'll start Monday mindset. First up, understanding carbs versus fats versus proteins. Oh man, this was my biggest blind spot for decades. I honestly didn't even know what a carb was versus a fat versus a protein. I used to think all carbs were the enemy, so I cut them out completely and end up crashing hard midday, irritable, foggy-brained, and basically useless. Turns out it's not about demonizing carbs, it's about choosing the right ones. The fibrous vegetables, the leafy greens, a little sweet potato or berries that gives steady energy without spiking blood sugar. For me, the real shift came when I leaned into a keto-based approach, prioritizing high-quality protein and good fats, with carbs making up only about 30% of my plate, and the vast majority of those carbs coming from non-starchy vegetables and greens. Fats, I learned healthy ones like avocados, olive oil, nuts, and fatty fish are crucial for hormone balance, keeping me full longer and actually supporting fat loss. And protein from sources like grass-fed beef, eggs, or wild salmon became non-negotiable for me to preserve muscle as I age, which keeps my metabolism humming and helps me recover better. The key for me now, a plate that's roughly 30% carbs, mostly veggies on that, 30 to 35% healthy fats, and about 35 to 40% protein. This higher fat and protein focus controls my hunger, stabilizes my blood sugar, and makes fat loss sustainable, especially after 40 when insulin sensitivity can dip. It took me years of trial and error, but once I got the right balance, my energy leveled out, my mood lifted, and losing weight and keeping it off became so much easier. Don't make my early mistake. Experiment with your own plate, track how you feel for a week, and adjust it until it clicks with you. Second, realizing you don't need marathon gym sessions for great gains. Gosh, I wasted so much time slogging through 90-minute to 2-hour workouts 7 days a week, thinking more was better. But after 40, that just led to burnout, injuries, and no progress. The truth, guys, 45 minutes 4 times a week is plenty if you focus on compound movements like squats, deadlifts, and push-ups with proper form. Add some resistance training to build muscle, which boosts metabolism and bone density, key for longevity. I switched to shorter, smarter sessions like HIIT workouts with rest days, and my strength gains exploded while feeling recovered. It's about quality over quantity. Listen to your body, guys, and you'll see better results without the exhaustion. Third, how important supplementation is when your diet isn't perfect. For years, I thought food alone was enough. And with our food system the way it is nowadays, and with busy life and travel, there are many nutrient gaps which showed up as fatigue and slow recovery in my life. Now I focus on a targeted core stack instead of a generic multivitamin because after 40, absorption can dip and we need specific nutrients to stay resilient. My essentials are vitamin D paired with K2 for better bone health, calcium direction to bones instead of arteries, mood support and immune function, magnesium biglycinate, which is great for calming the nervous system, improving sleep quality, reducing stress, and easing muscle recovery, zinc, which is key for immune strength, hormone balance, and fighting inflammation, selenium, which is an antioxidant protection for thyroid health and cells, high quality omega-3s to combat inflammation, support brain and heart health, and aid recovery, and a combo of pre and probiotics to nurture gut health, which ties into everything from mood and immunity to better nutrient absorption. And lastly, but so important, are methylated B complex vitamins that have active forms like methylfolate and methylcobalamin for all your key B vitamins. This one is huge for energy metabolism, steady mood, hormone support, and reducing stress and fatigue, especially as conversion to active forms can slow after 40. Or if you have genetic factors like MTHFR variants that can make standard B vitamins less effective. These fill the common gaps that show up as low energy, poor sleep, or slower healing. And they've made a huge difference for me in feeling energized and strong. But don't go overboard, guys. Start with these basics, get your baseline levels tested by a doctor if possible, and then build from there. Pro tip, it's not a replacement for food, but when life gets hectic and you can't eat perfectly every day, this keeps you resilient and consistent. On that solid base, you can then begin to add targeted ones for things like insulin control, which is like cinnamon and berberine, if blood sugar stability is a goal for you. My mood, sleep, immunity, and overall recovery improved dramatically once I embraced this focused approach. Fourth, the massive impact of your mental state on your body. I used to ignore stress, thinking it was just life, but chronic worry spiked my cortisol, leading to belly fat, poor sleep, and even muscle loss. After 40, guys, mindset is everything. Positive thinking, meditation, or gratitude journaling lowers inflammation and boosts hormone balance. I started daily affirmations and deep breathing, and it has transformed my physical health. Better fat loss, sharper focus, and more joy. Remember, your thoughts shape your biology. Treat your mind like a muscle and your body follows. Fifth, the absolute importance of sleep. For me, in my younger years, I pulled all-nighters into my 30s thinking I'd just catch up later, but chronic skipping wrecked my metabolism, spiked my mood swings, and slowed my recovery big time. Even in my 40s, I was scraping by on just 5 to 6 hours of sleep most nights, thinking I could power through. To survive the crashes, I'd sneak in those life-saving 15 to 20-minute power naps whenever I could. True power naps, where I drop off fast, relax deeply, sometimes even drilling a bit for total surrender, and wake up recharged without the groggy hangover. Personally, at that time, they were game changers for keeping me functional during the day. But it wasn't until I hit 50 that I finally realized short naps were just a band-aid solution, and I needed to prioritize real, consistent nighttime sleep. Now at 56, 7 to 8 hours, personally ideally for me would be 7 to 9 hours, of quality sleep every night is absolutely non-negotiable. That's when the magic happens. It regulates hunger hormones like ghrelin, which cranks up appetite when you're short on rest, and leptin, which signals I'm full, triggers growth hormone release for muscle repair and recovery, and activates the brain's lymphatic system to flush out toxins and metabolic waste overnight, keeping your mind sharp, protecting against long-term decline, and making everything from fat loss to energy feel way easier. Still, to be honest, at 56, I'm still aiming for a consistent bedtime where it's pitch dark in the room with blackout curtains if possible, and no TV screens or phone screens at least 1 hour before lights out, which is tough with life's curveballs. But when I nail it, I truly wake up feeling refreshed, my energy stays steady, cravings are manageable, and weight control happens more naturally. Though, I'll be honest, life gets in the way sometimes. Skipping on sleep is like feeding your body junk. It undermines all the good habits you're building. If you can, prioritize it fiercely for that deep vitality and longevity we're all chasing and striving for. 6, you don't need to starve yourself for weight loss results. In my younger years, I tried crash diets, cutting calories to less than 1,000 a day, only to binge later and gain more. Sustainable loss comes from nutrient-dense meals that satisfy. Think protein-rich salads with healthy fats. Eat mindfully, listen to hunger cues, and focus on quality over restriction. You'll feel more full and energized. 7th key point, intermittent fasting. It isn't punishment, guys. It's incredibly healthy. I feared fasting meant starving. A 16 to 8 window, meaning that eating in an 8-hour window, 16 hours of fasting, it resets your insulin, boosts fat burning, and promotes cellular repair, which is termed autophagy for anti-aging. After 40, it helps hormone balance, reduces inflammation, and improves brain health without muscle loss if it's done right. Start gradual, like going to a 12 to 12 window, meaning 12 hours of intermittent fasting with a 12-hour eating window. Within that 12-hour eating window, you have nutrient-packed meals. Personally, it's freed up my time and energy, feeling lighter and clearer headed. And the 8th key point is handling binge days or nights with grace and a quick reset. Life happens, guys, and I get it. Maybe you had a big celebration, too much alcohol, or just dove into fast food and processed stuff because the urge hit hard. Instead of beating yourself up or trying to punish yourself with restriction, do a gentle 1 to 2 day reset. Get right back into your nutrient-dense meals, stick with your intermittent fasting window, take your supplements, and move your body with some light exercise like walking or your usual routine. No starving, no guilt spirals, just consistent nourishment. For me, those occasional binge days actually act like a mental release. They satisfy that got it out of my system urge, reduce my future cravings, and help me snap back stronger and more motivated. Science backs this too. Planned indulgences can prevent bigger unplanned binges and keep things sustainable long term. Forgive yourself quickly, reset gently, and keep moving forward. The 9th point, mastering cravings with smart moderation instead of total denial. For me, when a craving hits for something off plan, for example like chips, cake, or ice cream, don't fight it endlessly. That often backfires into a full binge. Instead, train yourself to enjoy just a small taste, 1 or 2 chips, a spoonful of cake. Savor it slowly, then move on. It does take practice, but once your brain learns that tiny amount satisfies the urge without guilt or overload, you won't need the whole bag or slice. This builds real self-control and prevents deprivation from fueling bigger slip-ups. I found it way more effective than all or nothing rules. It keeps me in charge, reduces obsession, and makes healthy eating feel freeing, not punishing. The 10th key point is being easy on yourself and using positive self-talk every day. This might be the biggest game changer after all these years. Stop the harsh inner critic, the I messed up again, or I'll never get this right. Instead, love yourself through words. Compliment your efforts. Thank your body for what it does and use affirmations like, I'm strong and capable, I deserve to feel good, or I'm progressing every day. Your body responds to positive thoughts. It lowers stress hormones, boosts motivation, and helps everything from fat loss to energy to adapt better. After 40, kindness to yourself isn't optional. It's essential for longevity and joy. I've seen my progress skyrocket once I started speaking to myself like I would a dear friend. The 11th point, stocking your kitchen so meal prep is fast, easy, and healthy. Because nothing derails progress faster than coming home starving with an empty fridge. I learned this the hard way. When life gets busy and hunger hits, the last thing you want to do is scramble and end up ordering takeout or grabbing processed junk. Plan ahead. Keep your core healthy foods, spices, and snacks stocked and ready to go. Buy in bulk where it makes sense, like frozen berries, nuts, grass-fed beef portions, wild salmon fillets, or leafy greens you can freeze. And prep what you can in advance. Chop your veggies, cook batches of protein, portion out your snacks, freeze extras in single servings so thawing is quick. Have anti-inflammatory spices on hand to make everything taste amazing without extra effort. Things like turmeric with a pinch of black pepper for absorption, ginger, cinnamon, garlic, and cumin. They add flavor, fight inflammation, especially helpful after 40 for your joints, recovery, and overall vitality, and turn simple meals into something very satisfying. Pair them with your staples like your eggs for quick scrambles, avocados and olive oil for salads, fermented foods for gut boosts, or dark chocolate squares for a mindful treat. Science shows this approach prevents impulsive eating and binge cycles. Having nutrient-dense options ready reduces decision fatigue, stabilizes blood sugar, and keeps you from defaulting to high-calorie, low-nutrient choices when you're hangry. It saves time, cuts stress, supports steady weight management, and makes sticking to those macros, fasting windows, and nourishing habits way easier long-term. For me, a well-stocked kitchen is a total lifesaver. Meals come together in minutes, I stay consistent, and I feel in control instead of reactive. Make it a habit. Do a quick weekly inventory and shop accordingly. Your future self and your energy levels will thank you. These lessons took me 38 years, but applying them makes me feel better at 56 than in my 30s. Tie them together. Track your carbs and proteins, short smart workouts, supplement wisely, nurture mindset, prioritize sleep, eat nourishing meals, try fasting, reset after slip-ups, moderate cravings, and speak to yourself kindly. Your body will thank you with more vitality and longevity. Which lesson hit home for you? Drop it in the comments. Believe me, I read every one of them. If this helped, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Real Talk Wellness. See you next time. Let's make 2026 amazing.